Go blue, everybody. Red and green not allowed in this facility. We got the spring camp updates. We've got recruiting updates. Sean Magee maybe going to the Navy, and basketball, and so much more. And our winner of the $1,000 bracket challenge. It's all coming up next on Michigan Wolverines Live. And that's it. Here we go. Episode 194 of Michigan Wolverines Live. My name's John D'Adamo, and I'm going to be taking you through the next hour and a half or so. Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. We have so many topics, and we are coming to you live from YouTube. We're coming to you live from X, from Twitch, and you can check us out on audio, on Apple, on Spotify, on Amazon, on iHeart. Leave a rating, leave a review. Catch us on your favorite audio platform. As you join us, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this out with at least one friend. If everybody shares the YouTube link out with at least one friend, we're going to blow this thing up. Let people know that we're here. And of course, if you want your comment or question put to the top of the queue, and I'll remind you guys a couple of times, but we're only going to highlight comment or questions for the most part that are super chats. So if you want to ask TJ something or me something, super chat, all right? Or be a YouTube member, and we have a chance to catch it, and then we'll get it that way. But without further ado, we got my partner here, partner in crime, Ronin, who is here to help us unveil the bracket challenge winner. TJ, sorry it wasn't you. It would only be me if it was golf scores, but.
That was not a foul on Cooper Flag. Just want to make that clear. Duke did choke though. Shame on them. Because they should have won that tournament. I think that's the case. But it is what it is. Florida did win. I believe CJ72 is the winner of the bracket challenge, which, we'll get into that. We'll cover all that. But shout out to him. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the prize.
Well, you tried, and look, Florida winning, that was something that I think some people predicted. Not like St. John's, but definitely not a super shock. But at the same time, congrats to them. Aaron's here, Marmar's here. We've got, we got Doug here wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Doug. And thank you, everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I see Ronald, appreciate you. There's a couple others too. Thank you.
AD's here. Yeah, happy birthday, happy belated, obviously, but very exciting. Russell Harris, Wolverine in Ohio. And now let's go ahead and get to the big first piece of news, which is the Winn Agency $1,000 bracket challenge winner. We actually have a video from Winn Agency to celebrate our winner here. So let's roll that.
Hey, Michigan fans. Wow, what an amazing March Madness season. Thank you so much to everyone who jumped into our bracket challenge this year. It was a wild ride all the way to the final buzzer. Big shout out and huge congratulations to Christopher. Not only did he call it, but he had one of the top brackets in the whole country. He correctly picked Florida to take the championship. Christopher, your $1,000 prize will be headed your way soon. Thanks again for being part of the fun. We love being part of this awesome community. Go Blue.
Shout out to Winn Agency. Shout out to our good friend Lisa there. Yeah, man. Shout out to Christopher. We'll share that right now. So, unfortunately, again, I didn't come through, but Christopher did come through, which means he will be awarded the $1,000. Congratulations to you, man. We now have to figure out how we can get it to you. So I did request if you can give us your email, if you're okay with that. If not, we got to figure another way to get in contact with you. So I don't know, John, maybe, you tell me what do you think the best approach is. If you can give us your email, that'd be the easiest right now in the chat. I don't know if you want the public to have that though. I guess I could try and see if there's another way to get in contact with you though, but that's kind of where we are, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you could share an email or just some way to get in contact, so that we can chat with you offline, get you the prize.
He
You know,
said
we'll
no, he's not. He said he's not giving
okay,
us the email. All right.
okay, all right. We'll
Humane,
figure
hey,
something
you
out.
know what? The Humane Society would love $1,000 donation.
CJ, yeah, just give us something that we
Yeah,
can
there's
contact
no
you by.
brother. I don't know how because you don't have Twitter, so we can't do DMs. We got to figure out a way to get in contact with you.
Yes, we
So I
want
don't
to
know.
give you this money. So,
Here's the deal. We know it's you, so I guess we'll
yeah,
figure it out.
yeah.
But we'll figure it
All
out.
right. All right. So with that said, more to come on that, but definitely want to fulfill our end of that as quickly as humanly possible to get that done. Also, of course, we have a note from Connor Stallions here, so we want to play that.
What's up, guys? Connor Stallions here. Appreciate you for being a part of the highest tier, the Connor Stallions team. Appreciate you. Go Blue. We need you dialed in this year. We got to make another deep run into March, ideally into April this year. Go Blue. And also, we're going for 5 in a row against the Buckeyes in football. And let's get back in the playoffs and win this thing again. Go Blue. Keep being great.
There we go. The legend, the myth, Connor Stallions.
Listen, Connor Stallions is saying, join the Connor Stallions espionage tier. It's just $9.99 a month. It's our top tier membership right now. That's right, GT. The GOAT has spoken. And the cool thing about that membership is that in addition to, of course, the emojis, the members only streams and all of that good stuff, you also get more access to kind of our social medias and DMs that way. My ex DM is open to people who are Connor Stallions. And on top of that, we at least once a month roll out the call for topics, call for ideas. Anyone who's Connor Stallions level actually gets to respond to that and contribute a topic or an idea. So we'll be doing mock drafts because that was a Connor Stallions idea. We did a topic on, I think it was like depth chart analysis or offense analysis that was a Connor Stallions idea. So we do take the ideas from the Connor Stallions, and we welcome those ideas and suggestions to make the show better. So I love that being at that level. So yeah, the GOAT has spoken. I'm putting the link right here, and all you have to do is click that link and sign up for the Connor Stallions level.
Absolutely.
All right. So I thought this was pretty fun. So red and green not allowed in this facility. Buckeyes and Spartans may call it a war on Christmas, but you know what I call it? I call it matching the energy. I like this better than crossing out every single M. I feel like it's the right amount of pettiness. Kind of just. I like that since 2021, TJ, they've been coming up with this type of idea to just drive home how important the rivalry was, because it felt like before 2021, they kind of treated it as any other game. And since 2021, it's like, what are you doing to beat Ohio State today? No red or green beyond this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the graphic, or like people put a bunch of pictures on social media, but I can't seem to find it right now. But oh, you already have. I'm sorry. What the hell am I doing?
It's right here.
I was literally looking online for the graphic. Yeah, I love it. I think, if you know, and we know. So yeah, get them out of here. And I'm very curious though how much they're going to enforce this fun little rule here, because here's what I mean by that. Let's say there's a kid and he comes with his family, and like the little 8-year-old sister or little brother has like, some red or green on, right? You never know. But it's fun at the end of the day. You love it. And what I like about it is they put it up, John, and then they also have next to it no video camera or filming of practices. right? So you have like
Mm.
these two. You have one that is quite obvious a hard rule, and then you have the other one that's a bit more playful. But yeah, I mean, good for Michigan to play on it, and I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just a fun little thing, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think that takes us perfectly to the spring update. Obviously, going on in these facilities, they're doing practices, and we're seeing some people emerge as potential stars already. But one thing that I heard, and I forget if it was on 3 or which source, but talking about the defense being ahead of the offense, and I do think that it can't come as a complete shock when the offense, they're installing a new system, and the defense is still in the Wink Martindale Ravens system that they've been in, and with some returning talent and some they were strong even in that Alabama game. So we saw the depth play very well in that game. So is it a shock that the defense might be a little bit ahead right now?
No, I mean, I think it's to be expected, because typically when you have spring camp or you have fall camp, the defense is typically ahead of the offense, because the offense is built on timing and getting in sync, where the defense is more read and reacting. Plus, to your point, John, we're talking about a defense that finished top 10 in the country last year. We're talking about a defensive coordinator who knows his groove, has his niche. We're talking about, like you said, an offensive coordinator implementing a whole new system with a quarterback who is 17 years old. So no, I mean, I think, and our offensive line with some new starters and guys shifting positions, like Giovanni Alhadi going from right to left. So it is completely understandable, especially with all the new faces on offense, like Jamar Browder and Justice Haynes in backfield and things like that. Fred Moore, Samaj Morgan. I mean, they've been there, but still, like, just getting used to Bryce Underwood. Fully expect the defense to be ahead of that curve. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be in a week or two, the offense will start catching up, tick for tack with the defense, John.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, yeah, not a super shock. The offense had a lot more, let's just say, ladder that they have had to climb versus where the defense was. New offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new pieces on wide receiver. But early, I do want to kind of touch on the offense here. From what I understand, the taller receivers, having the core of the taller receivers, Ron Bellamy was talking about this, that's really playing a role in some increased productivity. And Donovan McCulley's kind of one of the players that we're seeing, which is not a shock, continue to emerge as a real threat and an X type. So with that said, I mean, can we expect some real improvement here in the receiving core in September?
I believe so. And I've been on here probably for a month to 2 months now saying I think I think Donovan McCulley is going to lead this team in receiving yards and touchdowns. Word out of Ann Arbor is that he is showing to be a number one option at wide receiver. He is able to make the plays, stretch the field. He's looking like a player who is a guy that you can count on, a guy who can go up and get the ball. One of the things that Soup Campbell as well as Ron Bellamy are trying to tell these kids is, look, treat it like basketball. Go get the rebound, right? Go get the rebound. Another player who fits that mold, John, is Jamar Browder, who we have been high on this channel for a while. We talked about it. I don't know anyone who said what I said when this kid committed to Michigan. And what I said was he has the best hands in the class. And very first day of spring ball, he had a wow play where he had a crazy catch and everybody was like, holy shit. And if you look at this kid's highlight tape, he has a bunch of amazing catches. He's a great hands catcher. And I fully anticipate Jamar Browder to continue to shine in these moments as a young player who's going to have ups and downs. But I do think Jamar Browder is going to be a player. If his impact is not great in year one, which it could be tough playing behind McCulley, right? But in the coming years, I do think Jamar Browder is going to be a guy. And there's no doubt that Ann Arbor, they feel that he is a steal. they got a good one here. So it's very exciting to see, the rumblings coming out of spring ball that his name is coming up consistently. So you love to see that. A couple other wide receivers who have kind of made some noise in camp is Andrew Marsh, Fred Moore. Fred Moore is looking like the guy that we want at Z, but it's early, like how much impact is he going to have, how consistent is he going to be. That's John's guy. He's co-signed him. So, can Donovan McCulley, can Fred Moore be those outlets for Bryce Underwood when, Bryce has to get the ball out quick? So, it's something that it's good to hear, though. It's good to hear that the wide receivers are stepping up.
Yeah, for sure. And you can say what you want about the quarterback situation and how improved the quarterback situation is. And I would agree that Bryce Underwood on his worst day is better than the quarterbacks that Michigan had last year on their best day. And at the same time, you could still see that when you have taller wide receivers, good things happen. And if they're running their routes, it's also Ron Bellamy talked about Soup Campbell really bringing an extra impact. He's a tactician. He's somebody who's a details guy. And that's something that we pointed out. I was very critical that some of the details were being missed. Here comes Soup Campbell, tons of experience in wide receiver coaching, comes in to start filling in those gaps, start helping with communication where needed, and even coaching Ron Bellamy up a little bit, I think, in some different aspects. So Soup Campbell being in that room, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, well, I mean, so apparently Soup Campbell's kind of showing tape of the guys he coached in the late 90s, early 2000s in Michigan, saying this can be you. This is the standard in Michigan. And we're talking about 6 1,000-yard receivers, 3 All-Americans. Soup Campbell, that's something that has so recently there's been some individuals who have been able to watch practice, and there's been a lot of consensus out of these practices. And one of the consensuses are that Juan Castillo and Soup Campbell are major additions to this coaching staff because they are very involved, very vocal, very hands-on. So, and these are coaches that we've spotlighted throughout the offseason that we thought would have great impacts, and it's already showing some fruition here. So we'll see as the spring ball continues. I'm sure we'll hear more about it, but especially once we get into fall ball Saturdays, let's see their impact really hit the field,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Antoine saying, give Ron some Campbell soup. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's clear that early indications are that the receiving core is better. It can't get any worse. Let's be real. There's nowhere to go but up. So let's be honest there, that when your tight end is by far your best producer and it's not even close, that there's some room for improvement in the wide receiver core quite a bit. And so I'm excited to see that Fred Moore has improved. And Andrew Marsh is another one that's been talked about. It's early. He's a true freshman, but he's somebody that's really shining early on. And it's not a shock. It's not a shock. If anybody who's been following us, again, just follow Voice of College Football Michigan, and you'll know about a lot of this stuff really early on.
Yeah, we typically we're either on it, and then when we give our projections, we're typically on point. Now, do we bet 1,000? No, but our average is high. We're like the Ichiro Suzuki of the podcasting game right now. We got a high hit rate. But yeah, man, I mean, another thing we can kind of talk about here is, the running back battle, John. Like, what's going on here? Because there is some interesting rumblings coming out of the running back battle. Jordan Marshall. It does appear that Jordan Marshall has the lead on the RB1 battle. Now, this is where the hit rate takes a hit on my end because but it's not over. It's early, but I have Justice Haynes taking that spot. And obviously, you can win. It's winning at one thing in camp, but it's obviously winning it on the field on Saturdays is what matters. But it does appear that Jordan Marshall is lead back right now, and he looks the part by all accounts out of Ann Arbor right now, which is great to hear.
Yeah, and you could look at Rock Boys as one source, and you could look at some of the other sources, and it does. And like, these are people who had Justice Haynes in the lead before, right? These are people who had Justice Haynes as RB1 before, and now having to change that. And look, I mean, That's why we got two of us, because sometimes sometimes one of us takes a whiff. It's okay, but there's still hope for Haynes. It's not over yet. It's still just the spring, and we still have all of fall to go, and we still have before game 1 to go. And we know with Michigan, it's not even over at game 1. It's a continued meritocracy. So they're going to be pushing each other. But I will say one thing: this is really good for recruiting. If Jordan Marshall wins this job, I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days. If Jordan Marshall wins this job over the transfer, what does that say to recruits? It says, we might bring in transfers to push you, but you still have every opportunity to win these jobs.
Right.
So what we don't want to happen is every single starter becomes a transfer.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's a meritocracy. Best man wins, and that's just what it's going to be. And at the end of the day, production is going to really determine who's starting. So, we'll see when the regular season hits. But as it stands right now, Jordan Marshall's showing out, and I don't think anyone can complain about that. That's good. We all thought Jordan Marshall was an excellent player come out of high school. We saw the flashes in the Alabama game, and if he can maintain it, then good for Jordan Marshall. And at the end of the day, whoever is the best man for the job should get the damn job, at the end of the day. So we'll root for him, and we'll keep our eyes on it. We'll see if Justice Haynes can, that's another thing too, though, is, you got Justice Haynes coming in here. Now, again, it is a new offense, so they're both starting from scratch. But at the end of the day, Justice Haynes is acclimating to a new environment. We'll see. We'll see if fall camp, how it goes when things get a little more physical. I do know there has been some toning down of hitting in practice because some guys have been really laying the wood out there. So, we'll just have to kind of let it play out. It's still early. And as it comes, we'll update you guys as we get it.
Yeah, for sure. It's great. It's great that they're going to be obviously throwing the ball a bit more in Chip Lindsey's system, although all indications are they're still going to have an emphasis on physicality. Apparently, Sharon Moore spending more time with the O-line because he doesn't have to baby the offensive coordinator anymore, because Chip Lindsey knows what he's doing, right? It's not I basically said now Michigan has a real offensive coordinator, because Kirk Campbell wasn't, in my opinion, a real offensive coordinator in how he approached it. Well, Chip Lindsey has tons of experience at all levels and knows how to coach that, obviously the full offense, knows how to coach quarterbacks, and allows Sharon Moore to focus more time with Castillo, with Newsome in the O-line room to really shore that up. Because if you're gonna start a true freshman quarterback, which I don't think there's any at this point with Mikey Keene injured, or whatever the injury is, or whatever the situation is there, we still don't exactly know. But I mean, it's Bryce Underwood versus Jaden Davis.
Well, so I don't know the injury, but I have gotten it confirmed that he's gonna be out a while. So before we were saying, well, we know he's injured, and I have heard that it's potentially longer than shorter, and I have had it confirmed that he's gonna be out a while. So he'll be out probably the rest of spring ball, and we'll see if he can make it for fall camp. I don't know. Like, what I don't know is if he will or will not be ready for fall camp. I just know he's out for spring ball.
For sure. And so as we kind of look at the defense here, this is another name that we've had for a while. Shamari Earls is blowing up in camp right now. Obviously, Jair Hill was mentioned, Zeke Berry was mentioned, but Shamari Earls turning heads, just really blowing up early here in camp.
Yeah, I mean, word is he's pushing for cornerback 3. That's crazy. As a true freshman, he's a 6'2" corner, great length. His length is better than Will Johnson's. Now, again, I want to just caution here. Do I think he's on Will Johnson's level? I do not. But do I think he is a step behind a Will Johnson? Or, yeah, I think, and the coaching staff believes that. I mean, he has that potential. There's actually a lot of praise coming out of spring ball right now for Shamari Earls and him just playing really well on the back end of that defense. So that's a great development. I mean, you can never have too much corner depth. And the fact that he's already just a few weeks into spring ball pushing for a position that is in the rotation on Saturdays, That's just an excellent sign. And shout out to Shamari there. Yep. And then just to hit on some other, we kind of lost your signal there, John, but just to, kind of hit on, we can kind of run down some quick hitters on what we're hearing on the defensive side of the ball here, but the front seven's showing out. And that's, again, to be expected because the defense is ahead of the offense, but Derek Moore in particular. Derek Moore has been a player that is being highlighted right now on this defense. And by all accounts, he's in the backfield a lot. Now, one could argue, well, that's a bad sign for the offensive line. But then, the counter position is, well, Derek Moore is now, it's his time. It's his time as an edge rusher to make a name for himself. And then we continue, John, a constant theme, Dominic Nichols. Dominic Nichols is still continuing to be a name that we are hearing consistently. I mean, we may very well have a guy that is going to break out this year. And right now, the breakout candidate has to be Dominic Nichols. I mean, it has to be in terms of players who are young on the rise. I mean, that's probably where I'd put it. I'd put it at Dominic Nichols. And then, to keep going, John, Jair Hill's holding down cornerback 1 for them right now. I mean, he's looking good, looking strong, really growing and maturing in that role, looking like he's going to be the cornerback 1 when the season begins throughout the year, which is great. He's, again, a player who we were very high on coming out of high school, and he's finally found his groove. And then here's the interesting one, and I know Juju's going to appreciate this. Mason Curtis playing nickel, 6'5", guys, 6'5", playing nickel. He is playing a little high end safety though, so he's doing some high end safety. He's doing nickel, but the versatility is really the point here. He has the versatility to play on the back end at 6'5", and he doesn't look out of place. That's an interesting one. The other interesting one for me, John, is Brandon Hillman, and this is one of the players they literally had to specifically say, tone it down. You're laying these dudes out. You're going a little too hard on your own teammates. Just tone it down a little bit. Just a little tone it down there. All right. These are your guys on the same team. And he's playing safety as well as nickel. There's a lot of rotation at the nickel position. I think they're trying to find the right mix of guys on the back end. But what is interesting is I'm not hearing much about Jaden McBurrows, who we did project as being in that rotation for nickel. His name's not really coming up. Names that are coming up on the nickel rotation are Zeke Berry, which is interesting, Brandon Hillman, Mason Curtis, TJ Metcalf has had some run at nickel, and I think that's kind of there might be another one or two, but not Jaden McBurrows. So really interesting to hear how this back end's developing, but it should be an extremely good back end, especially when Rod Moore returns, which he is projected to come back and be ready for the start of the year.
Oh, can you imagine if it's like a Mason Curtis Rod Moore battle at nickel? I mean, that would be wild.
I was trying to just hearing the news coming out of camp with the back end of this defense. I was just trying to project what it could look like. Obviously, Jair Hill at one corner, you got Zeke Berry at the other. Let's say you have Mason Curtis at nickel. You have Rod Moore at safety, TJ Metcalf at the other safety. I mean, that is just a lengthy, versatile ass back end of that defense. And then you have Brandon Hillman and Shamari Earls in the rotation. That's extremely deep, man. Extremely deep, talented, long, athletic. Yeah, man. I mean, it's exciting. The defense should be in a very good spot. Another thing we didn't really hit on is the depth, and this is something we know. This is something we know, and our community is aware because we've been talking about this for a while. We've been doing these position groups. The defensive line depth. The guys like Trey Williams and Damon Payne and Trey Pierce. You got Cameron Brandt, TJ Guy, Derek Moore, Dominic Nichols. We're talking about 8 to 9 deep right now, which is exactly what Michigan, they'd love to have an 8 to 9 man rotation because, they're always constantly rotating those bodies. It's just in a good spot. It's in a great spot. And what we're not hearing, we haven't really talked about is Ernest Hausman and Jay Sean Barnum. The one thing I did hear from an individual who did go to camp is that Ernest Hausman looks like an NFL Mike linebacker, which we know he's athletically gifted, physically built well. But I'm not concerned about Jay Sean Barham and Ernest Hausman. They played extremely well at the end of the year. This defense just really should be a well-built unit. And then I think it might have been Marmar. I'm not sure, but on the call-in show last Thursday, they brought up a great point. Going against Bryce Underwood every day, this defense can be prepared for anything. There's not a quarterback that is going to give you anything Bryce Underwood is not. Bryce Underwood has the arm, as good of an arm as anybody in college football. Now, accuracy, we do intend him to be accurate. But of course, there's probably quarterbacks in college football a bit more accurate than a 17-year-old kid coming out of high school. He'll improve on that, I'm sure. But in terms of his arm strength, arm power, the zip on the ball, there's no one in college, and I am confident making that statement. There is no one in college who is better than him in that area. He probably is going to have the strongest arm in college football, if not the strongest, damn close. And then you add in the versatility, the dual threat capability here. There's nothing this defense won't see, unless there's like a unique play scheme that we're just not running. But outside of that, like a triple freaking option or something. But like beside that, like this defense will be very well prepared for next season and should be as dominant as we saw against Ohio State and Alabama.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe the New Mexico Lobos do some run and shoot or something like that, and you might have to adjust a little. But and before we get to super chats, any final pieces on spring?
No, I mean, just that's kind of where we are. We hit on most of it, but I mean, it's just a lot of good news coming out. I am surprised to hear the lack of. I guess there's some, a few things we could hit on. I'm surprised to not hear much about Jaden McBurrows. I'm surprised to not hear more buzz about Justice Haynes. Yeah. I'm surprised we're not really hearing any buzz about the tight ends. There's not a lot of tight end smoke right now. And then I am surprised that there's a lack of Ernest Hausman and Jay Sean Barnum smoke, but that could be because they're not fully live all the time. And linebackers really flash when it's live 7-on-7, drills and things of that 11-on-11. So, it could be just that they haven't had the opportunity to shine like they could, but I am surprised to hear a bit of a lack of news there. And the one thing is, and I know we kind of touched on before in terms of punting, Hollenbeck is the punter. There's just been some inconsistency there. And then what I will say is the portal is going to be opening up and I know this is probably related more to the recruiting update, but the portal will be opening up and Michigan is expected to potentially look at offensive line, but definitely wide receiver. So we'll be on the lookout for that.
And maybe punter also. We might.
Yeah, and punter. That's true. Yes, and punter. I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So more to come on spring. Obviously, a bunch of the Avengers will be at the game on April 19th. We will do a post-game analysis after the game to let you all know, because I know a lot of people, if you're not in Ann Arbor, you're gonna have to wait a week.
Yep.
So we'll do what we can.
So what we're going to do, for those who don't know, is we will be doing a live post game after the game, directly after the game. And then we will be doing another post game, a second post game when it shows on Big Ten Network a week later. So we will be doing 2 post games so we can kind of give you guys what we're seeing. And then the following week, we can talk about what you guys are all seeing and we can have a discussion about it.
There we go. Can't wait to see everybody in person, including a lot of people in the community who said they're coming out. Doreen, even we've got people crossing the rivalry to be here, to be in Ann Arbor with us.
Flip watch.
Yeah, flip watch portal. Transfer portal watch there. Might be some NIL packages.
There's happening. Some NIL packages. We got them.
But Remez's bag. We got Remez, $2. Congrats, TJ and John, waiting for the $1,000 super chat. If you mean CG can do whatever the heck he wants with his winnings. But
I will say, Juju did say if we win the national title, he's going to do $1,000 super chat. Shout out to you, Juju. We'll be looking for that because the Natty's coming, boys. Natty's coming. But
that's what it is.
In all seriousness, it's all love. And we're still looking to get that first $500 super chat. The one we got, unfortunately, we didn't get. So one day, John, we'll get that $500 super chat, and that'll be a good day.
Absolutely. GT with the 5. Does Brad Holmes have any family members we can hire to be our new GM? Alluding to the news we're going to be covering soon about Sean Magee maybe going to the Navy, becoming the Navy athletic director. Apparently his dream job, but we'll talk about that in a bit, but Brad Holmes has any family members?
Not that I'm aware of, but we'll see. I mean, we'll talk about when the Sean Magee topic happens, but there's some contingency plans.
Very nice.
And Marmar wants to know about Sean McGee, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it, Marmar. Don't worry.
Keith, we got Keith here, the charter member of the Connor Stallions espionage team here with the 5. A Bama dude said they pay for whom they want to keep. We'll see what justice really is this fall. We saw what Jordan is against Bama. Yes, we did. In the ReliaQuest Bowl, he really shined as RB1.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Keith. And Marmar member for 4 months. 4 months. Thank you so much for that. And we might as well just cover that now. What the hell? So what is the news on Sean McGee and Michigan coming for all the smoke 2025? Hillman out there committing murders. Marmar and GT both asked, so I'm just going to throw this out now. There is some talk that due to the Navy athletic director retiring, that is Sean McGee's dream job. Sean McGee dreams of being in the administration in the Navy, and there could be a need for a new football GM.
Yeah, so as we told you guys literally 2 months ago, that teams were looking into Sean McGee. We talked about how his contract, quite honestly, is not even competitive these days to some of the top contracts in the GM space in college football. So that's something that we were kind of giving you guys a heads up on, and it's now come to fruition that Navy is one of the programs that have been poking around, showing some interest in Sean McGee, as Sean McGee previously was with Navy, and this is a dream, which is interesting. As Michigan fans were like, Navy, they're not even on that athletic program is nowhere near our level. You don't have the donors we do, you don't have the resources we do, you don't have the brand or that, so as a Michigan fan, it seems kind of wild that he would want to go to Navy. But let's just also clarify this. No decision has been made yet. It's just what we are reporting is that there is interest from Navy to have Sean McGee, and there has been a word that Sean McGee has always really wanted to be the athletic director of Navy. So he's still the athletic director of Michigan, or I'm sorry, I'm not athletic director. Forgive me. The general manager. He is still the general manager for Michigan.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, until it happens, it's not, but we do want to get you guys up to date. What's going on, what we're hearing, what's the word. And at this current juncture, he's still the general manager of Michigan. And from my understanding is if he were to jump to Navy, Michigan feels confident that they can fill the role with somebody very, someone that they feel can execute it very well. So very competent for the position. And I'm sure they could, because there's not many general the general manager role, guys, is like the new hotness, because it allows these professionals who are climbing the ladder to get their hands on building and constructing a roster with a salary cap, with donors, with revenue share, scouting, the whole thing, right? It really gets it's a nice warm up or prep practice for becoming a real NFL general manager or getting into a higher rank in an NFL office. So these are really hot positions. Michigan has arguably it really is one of the best general manager roles, considering the NIL resources, considering the brand, considering being a blue blood, etc. So yeah, Michigan's not too concerned there. The one thing I do find interesting, John, but it's something we're gonna have to watch here, is does Michigan up the Sean McGee contract? Because this would be the time. And if they do up the Sean McGee contract, I think he stays. If they do not, then I think it's potentially possible he moves to Navy, but we'll see, because it hasn't happened yet. This is all speculation. Let's make that very clear. It's just something we're gonna have to monitor.
Yeah, for sure. GT, of course, asking the tough question. Maybe Navy is demanding we send them Sean McGee because they gave us Stallions, in an exchange there.
Trade for trade. Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, obviously he has a background with Navy. I mean, it makes sense. But we'll just have to see what comes of it. We'll have to see. We're in wait and see mode. I do find it interesting that this isn't something that just happened. That's what's really interesting about this. This has been something where things have been happening behind the scenes, and now it's becoming more public on what team it is and how much the interest. Apparently, Navy's very interested, like very. It's like one of their main candidates. So we'll just have to kind of see how it plays out.
Well, and Michigan and Navy will be in a fight to see how they can benefit Sean Magee the most. Businesses, products, services, or programs could see how Voice of College Football could benefit them the most with a sponsorship. So we are offering sponsorships right now on the Michigan channel and every other team channel and our main channel. So just email sponsorships@vocfb.com, and we can talk about how a sponsorship at Voice of College Football, Michigan channel or otherwise, can benefit your business, your product, your service, your personal brand.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's get to the recruiting update. So we got a lot of so we got some names here to kind of keep an eye out. I'm very interested on the Hyder Osborne and kind of what's happening there. But starting with some quarterbacks, we got Lyons and Nathan Bernhard here. So love to hear a little bit more about them. And I'm excited to show this film in a sec because there's some good film.
Yeah. So, this is, again, the quarterback of 2026 is a really interesting situation because not only is the quarterback of 2026 going to determine the, kind of the structure of the class for 2026, but it's also affecting the 2027 class, which we can get into. But so Ryder Lyons is the crown jewel, I guess. I guess we would say he is top target. He's top dog. He is a 2026, but he's really a 2027 because he will be going on a mission. He will be gone for a year and a half. But the reason why this is affecting 2026 and 2027 is because Trey Taylor is 2027. And there's word that Trey Taylor is now trending elsewhere, he was a top target for Michigan since last shoot. The kid's been here almost 30 times. I mean, he's been a top target for a long time, but because of the Ryder Lyons dynamic, it does appear that Trey Taylor's trending elsewhere, and it also appears that Chip Lindsey prefers a different direction with that. But Ryder Lyons will be visiting Michigan this Friday. This is going to be a major visit because it's really going to clarify, in my opinion, it's going to give us a great look at where does Michigan stand. We know we're at the top of we're at the top of his list. We know that Michigan is making him a priority. We know that Chip Lindsey loves this kid's game. So where Michigan stands after this visit, in my opinion, is going to get a lot more clear and something we're going to have to monitor. But just know he's going to be arriving on Friday and staying all the way to Sunday for an unofficial visit. Very interesting to see these unofficial visits go for multi-day visits. It is my opinion, and I have heard some things but I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but I have heard that there's a little more going on with these official visits being multi-days. It isn't because they're supposed to be paying for their own trips. Okay. If it's an unofficial visit, it's up to the players and their families to pay for these trips. Yeah. I don't know how accurate that is these days. Let's just put it that way. All right. So the next player we'll hit. So we'll be on the lookout for the Ryder Lyons situation. The next player we're going to talk about, this is an interesting one. Nathan Bernhard, the 6'5", 227 quarterback out of Ashland, Ohio, ranked 531st in the nation overall.
Boom.
There is a feeling, John, that he is trending to Michigan and quickly. Obviously has a big arm. So there's a belief that this could happen, guys, as soon as this weekend. This weekend, Nathan Bernhard, who is a 2026, and it would make sense, guys. I'm going to kind of break this down how I'm looking at it. If you land a quarterback like a Nathan Bernhard, who's more of a safe, high floor guy, right? Not a dual threat, but has a cannon of an arm. You can just see him. He's just he is
throwing baskets right here, 3-point shots.
If your offensive line, right, protects this kid, because that's what it is. If you have a strong offensive line, which we will, he'll be just fine. He has good throwing mechanics. He stands up. I mean, I will say he has a bit of a swing, but nothing that's not uncorrectable. You can see he just has a cannon for an arm. So, in my opinion, how this is all shaking out right now is Michigan's trying to push for Nathan Bernhard to be the 2026 quarterback because Ryder Lyons is a 2027. I think in Michigan's ideal world, they land Nathan Bernhard for 2026. They get Ryder Lyons also in this class, so that secures their 2027, and then we're in a good shape with that quarterback room for the next foreseeable future, but for the next two classes. That, in my opinion, is what is going on right now. That is my viewpoint on it. That's not something I've had confirmed to me, but just the way it kind of looks, it makes a lot of sense. And it does appear that Michigan is pushing here because they have said that they would not offer Nathan Bernhard a scholarship unless they were very serious and it was a committable scholarship. Well, they just offered him a scholarship not too long ago, guys. So it does appear that it's looking like Nathan Bernhard will end up in this class as soon as this weekend. And it does appear that when Ryder Lyons visits Michigan on Friday, which happens to be this weekend, I feel Michigan's going to push very hard to try and get him into that 27 class. Even though it will be 2026, but technically 2027. So very interesting quarterback dynamic. And as you see, how does this affect the others? This affects the Brady Smeagol's, right? Brady Smeagol was a player, seems to be trending away. Trey Taylor, 2027, seems to be trending away. These quarterbacks are the quarterbacks who are coming to the forefront. The cream is rising to the top. Let's see if Michigan can pull off the double whammy here. Anything you want to hit on before we move on to our next targets here, John?
I mean, this guy has a cannon, and after Bryce Underwood now obviously is going to be QB1, you're starting to see now a different style of quarterback that's interesting to Michigan, because as we know, traditionally Michigan had your game manager type quarterback, right? Even Chad Henne wasn't exactly, let's be honest, he wasn't slinging it all over the field all the time. But think of your Cade McNamara's, your Spates, your Rudocks, your that type of quarterback. And now you've got in Bernhard literally somebody who has a cannon, and that's after Bryce Underwood. And I just think it's interesting overall to see that because the game is changing, Michigan is adapting, and they're not settling for the same kind of game manager quarterback that they've settled for in the past.
That's done. I think with NIL, that's over. Because now you can attract these quarterbacks, and then especially with a Chip Lindsey offense that's more quarterback friendly, wide receiver friendly, you can now start stocking up on that quarterback room. So it's very interesting. I mean, I think he's an intriguing prospect. I mean, there's no doubt his throwing motion is going to need some works mechanically, but at the end of the day, you can see the raw talent. He does have the ability to throw on the run. He does have a little bit of mobility to him, but he's just a really big kid at 6'5", 227. So we'll see what Michigan can do there. Next player we're going to hit on is a critical player for this class. That's Savion Hyder. His agent. So as we talked about last week, his agent, not him, his agent visited Sean Magee, which means it was all about business, boys, just talking business. And all indications out in Ann Arbor is the visit went extremely well. Savion Hyder has a very low profile recruitment right now where he's just not very public. He's not taking a lot of visits. He's only taken 2 visits this spring. He does plan on taking all of his official visits before making a decision. In the very next steps for this out of this recruitment is him finishing all of his official visits, which once official visit season hits, which I believe is May into June. After that, he is going to make a decision. As it stands right now, April 8th, it does appear Michigan has the lead for Savion Hyder, who is the #1 running back in the nation. But let's see how these official visits go. It's obviously not something I would be willing to lock right now. We're in a good position, but we got to kind of let it play out a little bit more. But it is a good indication that Sean Magee and his agent have already met. That's not something that's common. I think it's going to become more common now that we're in the NIL era, but it's one of the first times I've heard of an agent just kind of meeting with the general manager like that. So very interesting to see that dynamic.
I do want to just mention here, obviously Ohio State and Georgia, are teams that we have also reported are in the mix for Hyder, but it does sound like maybe at least one of those is losing favor because Michigan was only one of 2 visits that Hyder took, right? So can he just not go to Ohio State? Like that would be the biggest pie in the face. But I want him at Michigan for sure.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, he will be visiting June 13th through the 15th for the official visit, so we'll see there. Next player we're going to talk about is Javon Osborne. This is the other running back. This is the running back who put his top 2 schools as Michigan, Notre Dame. We talked about last week that Notre Dame having that edge, which is interesting because it actually became more public about that after our show. Shout out to us on that. But he's still going to take his visit to Michigan, and his visit is planned for April 19th. This is the opportunity for Michigan to make it clear to Javion Osborne that he's still a top priority for them. They do value him and that they do want him in this class. The reason why this is trending away from Michigan currently is because, quite frankly, and this is very interesting, and this is something we need to monitor. Apparently, Michigan's not being as transparent with NIL as the agents and players want them to be in terms of exact figure amounts. They're giving ballpark ranges on what a kid can expect, but they're not giving exact numbers. And I'll tell you what I think about that. My belief is that's a negotiation tactic. Why would you why would you give an exact number today? Mm-hmm. Negotiation isn't done till signing day. Mm-hmm. You know, like now you may put a kid off or a family off by not being more transparent and more direct. But at the end of the day, I think Michigan's not trying to outbid itself for players. And I think what they're doing is they're keeping things a little vague in terms of a range in which the player could see. But I also think that Michigan's taking a slower approach this cycle. So this way they can, as we saw, guys, we saw last cycle, end of September, all the way to signing day, a major wave of Michigan just going boom, 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 commit. Top players, steal him from Georgia, steal him from Alabama, steal him from Auburn, steal him from South Carolina, steal him from Georgia, Shamari, Earls, etc. I kind of feel Michigan's trying to kind of load things up to do that same exact thing. Now, they do need to get a few guys in this class because we are currently only at 3 guys? Yeah, currently 3 guys in the class. They do need to start getting a few here. Yep. But at the end of the day, a lot of their work, in my opinion, the real work is going to start picking up around September all the way to signing day. So it's something we just got to monitor. One thing that does go on in the back of my mind, as we talked about Sean Magee, John, is like, what if Sean Magee does take that Navy job? His slow play here, which I'm not mad at. You know, when you're in negotiations, when you have a clock, you don't rush the clock because the clock isn't going to be rushed. You know, I mean, that the clock finishes in December. There's no reason to over leverage yourself or under leverage yourself. So it's something we need to monitor. It's an interesting dynamic. And we'll find out how much it matters as the class or as the cycle progresses. But it's something that I do think is interesting right now. But so we'll be on the lookout for Javion Osborne. We'll see. We'll see if what comes about his April 19th visit. Now, I will say though, there is some confidence out of South Bend that things are trending quite well for Notre Dame here, and it may be one of those things where this last visit will give Javion Osborne his answer. So let's be on the look. I will say this, I have heard he's potentially willing to make a decision before his official visits. So let's kind of see how this one plays out. He is expected to visit Michigan for official visits for June 20th. So again, if he makes his decision before the official visit, it's probably going Notre Dame. So we'll just have to keep monitoring that. Next player we're going to talk about, and this is a big one, John.
A big one.
And I don't have good news here, guys. This is Jackson Cantwell, and I'm going to be honest with you here. This kind of sets up very well with what we just talked about not giving direct numbers. So we are currently trending away from Jackson Cantwell, the number 1 offensive tackle in the nation, okay? The 3 schools who are currently pulling away are Miami, Oregon, Georgia. Okay.
Wow. How about that?
2 of those are very aggressive NIL players. The other one plays the game as well, right? So now, again, this is similar to Javion Osborne, where what we're seeing is because of Sean Magee's slow play and not directness, it appears to be, I don't want to say rubbing players the wrong way, but it's, it's like anything. Like it's like in dating, you can only not commit so much, and at a certain point they're going to move on. Right. Yep. So it's something, there's a balance to this. There's an art, it's the art of negotiation. Right. So we'll see. But it's also potentially, and this is probably true because we're going to get into our next player, Leo Delaney. Right. It's probably true that Michigan looks at how the offensive line is shaping up. And you can play those highlights of Leo Delaney, John. It's probably true that they're like, you know what? Why do I need to spend $1.5 million for a Jackson Cantwell? when I can spend, because I just landed Andrew Babelow and Ty Haywood last class, I can spend a little less, save a little more money here, put that money elsewhere in other positions, and we can land a guy like Leo Delaney, who, by the way, guys, which we'll transition to right now, by the way, is currently about 6'7", 300 pounds, boys. This is your offensive tackle that Michigan is definitely making a higher priority. This is your future left tackle. And if not your future left tackle, your right tackle, especially when you get an Andrew Babelow, which, by the way, damn it, we didn't even talk about this in the spring update. Andrew Babelow is actually playing pretty well, guys. So we should have mentioned that. I don't know why I didn't have that in my notes. It just came to my mind because I had someone tell me that was going on, or Andrew Babelow was playing well. But anyways, regardless, Leo Delaney right here, boys. He does have some film where he's playing on the opposite side of the ball. He will be a tackle for Michigan. He is currently ranked as the 132nd overall player in the nation, but he's the number 8 interior. He's considered interior offensive line, but Michigan's not recruiting him for an interior offensive line. They are recruiting him as a tackle.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes this very interesting is he is out of Providence Day, North Carolina. We've had some success here. It's one of the powerhouses, one of the powerhouse schools that literally just pumps out talent every year. Obviously, we know Jaden Davis, Channing Goodwin, and I think there's one other who came from Providence Day that's on Michigan. One of the main factors in this recruitment is Biff Poggi. Apparently, the relationship he has developed with Biff Poggi, which we kind of, when we hired him in December, we talked about how Biff Poggi was such an X factor, being able to relate to these kids and just kind of letting them know the culture and expectations at Michigan. And not only did Biff Poggi do a great job, but his family, his dad is quoted as saying from their recent visit, Michigan is pretty much perfect.
Wow.
And because of this, John, there are crystal balls coming in for Michigan to land Leo Delaney by Bryce Marich and then Ethan McDowell of On 3. So Bryce Marich of 247 and Ethan McDowell of On 3. So you have the two competitor sites both throwing in the crystal ball or the prediction to Michigan. Now, if we look at our offensive line class, John, and how it's currently shaking out, you have Bear McWhirter, who is currently projected as a guard, nasty, mean player. You add this monster, the 6'7", 300-pound Goliath. Look at him move, though, for the guy his size. Absolutely amazing. Now envision him playing on the offensive line with Andrew Babelow, Ty Haywood, right? And now Andrew
that's a Michigan lineman right there.
We're talking monsters too. These are big ass dudes, bro. Big ass dudes.
Big ass dudes.
So the investment in the offensive line still seems to be there, but I do believe it's because of players like this. And Marky Walbridge is another player that I know Michigan's very high on. Zayden Crimpin's another player. These seem to be and Malachi Lee. Let's not forget about Malachi Lee. These seem to be the names that Michigan is after. We're going to have to let this one play out, but it does look like the offensive line is starting to shake out. I will say it does appear that Michigan is looking to land 4 offensive linemen in this class. If we do land Leo Delaney, that leaves 2, John. That leaves 2. So we'll find out who wants those final 2 spots. Next player we'll hit on here, John, is another one where I don't have the best news, and that's Jordan Thomas. This is the cornerback out of Virginia, I believe. We've talked about him. Multiple times because things seem to be in a good direction. He also, I believe, let me just double check. I want to say he's being, he has the same agent as our guy, Travis Johnson, who I am extremely high on and is in a good position for Michigan right now. I could be wrong on that though, but long story short, he is trending away from Michigan. And this is another one where potentially the NIL negotiations are not as clear and direct as these players want them to be. But it's just kind of the nature of the business. There's a lot of corners in this class. It's not a hard loss. And I'm sure at the end of the day, if Michigan wanted to get back into it, they could. But right now, things do seem to be trending away from Michigan. Just wanted to give everybody the update. And then, John, if you want to hit on anything on that before we get into our little basketball tidbit here.
Yeah, the kid has already inked his first NIL deal about a month and change ago with Carnivore. The world's they call themselves the world's number one beef, or the number one selling beef protein isolate. So How about that? So he's
You're
already
referring
getting
to
NIL deals. Yeah.
You're talking about Jordan Thomas?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? See, that just goes to show you, so these agents who are representing these players, I mean, guys, it's just business. Like, it's all business now. Now there's some kids who still, they still value the education and the environment and all that, which matters, but at the end of the day, these kids are like, it's all NIL, it's all the deals. If anyone deals with lawyers or agents, like, they don't play games. It's all business. It's down to brass tacks. And at the end of the day, they're looking to get the most for their client, because guess what? What's getting most for their client's good for them, because they're on commission. So at the end of the day, that's just kind of where we are. So interesting to see he's already got an NIL deal in high school. He's in high school and has an NIL deal. Amazing. Okay. Next player we're going to talk about. So I put out a video Saturday of Michigan after they landed our guy Yaxel Landenborg, something like that. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. Probably not. Who was the #1 portal player in the portal for basketball. Shout out to Queen Jolyn. Michigan is potentially on the verge of landing the best portal class of all time in basketball. And if we really think about it, guys, the portal in the NIL era has only been around for a few years, so it's not like it's something that's like crazy groundbreaking. But at the end of the day, you want to be the one setting the bar. Well, it does appear that Michigan is on the verge of landing another big time, and I mean big. I'm talking 7'3" center from UCLA, Aday Mara. Now he's currently not ranked for some reason in the portal rankings, but from my understanding, once he is ranked, he will be a top 30 portal player in the class. So Michigan will have gotten the #1, the number 18, and the number 20, like in the top 30, like 20 range. And then I think I believe it's one of these guys. I don't know if it's Morez Johnson or Ellie Cadeau. I'm not too sure. One of them is ranked in the 40s. So 4 top 50 portal guys, 3 top 30 players. And this is big time. This would be a big time addition because he still has years of eligibility. He's a 7'3" guy. He's not going to the NBA early because he's not necessarily he's kind of an old school big due to his size. Does have athleticism and flexibility. And when I mean by flexibility, I mean, he's not for a 7'3" center. He's not stiff, and that's what I meant by flex. Not position flexibility, just like athletic flexibility. So something, Dusty May's just doing the damn thing. I'll be honest, it's very interesting to see the portal approach of basketball versus football, because basketball, we seem to be like just buying everybody. Football, we're a little more cautious. Maybe that's just the Sean Magee to it. I don't know, but great to see that Michigan has the resources to be the top portal team. And I just want to add, John, and when we did that video, I highly recommend people check it out. If you have not checked out my video I did Saturday, and the reason why is because I go over, the ranking services do combine the recruiting classes with the portal classes, and Michigan is ranked 6th overall, and the teams who are ahead of us are Kentucky, North Carolina, like all the blue bloods. It's just the blue bloods, and then Michigan. So Michigan's now up there, and when we're talking, like, when you look at the point differential, Michigan's like right there. They add Aday Mara or Mara. We'll figure it out. But they add him. They may be 5th or 4th, which is just great to see. You give Dusty May this kind of talent. As I said in that video, Sweet 16 runs will be the minimum.
Yeah. At 1 year, dramatic turnaround from 2024, and players are taking notice. And clearly, there will be some who leave for the NBA. And with the nature of basketball being such where, players leave for the NBA after 1 year, it's not like football where, they're locked away from hitting the NFL for a couple of years. So it is a different dynamic. And so there is more turnaround. So turnover. So they need to be really aggressive in the portal in recruiting, even more so because you don't have that stability at all. And I know you don't have much stability period anymore, but at the very least you have that little bit of extra time given that it takes a few years before you can finally declare for the NFL draft. Anything else on recruiting? Otherwise, we've got a bunch of super chats. I want to hit here.
Super chats. Let's get to our super chats. Let's get to our community here.
All right. So Elisha with a shot right here. I think this is a shot at Samaj, Ron Bellamy. Who is more heated? Samaj finding he isn't getting the 3rd and 18 screenplays anymore, or Bellamy realizing that he actually has to do his job now due to Michigan discovering a term called wide receiver. The 3rd and 18 screenplays. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I think they're both happy here, Elijah. I think Samaj Morgan should get better opportunities, better throws here, better options, better routes. And Bellamy, he might be feeling a little heat with Sue Campbell looking over his shoulder, but maybe Bellamy looks at it as an opportunity to learn and grow here. But I will say, Elijah, I think during the season, I think your super chats are going to be a bit more optimistic because this passing game is going to be a lot more effective than those 70-yard legacy games that we all know and love.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think you love them.
Yeah, here's hoping. That would be you can't get much worse than like 129th passing offense in the country. So nowhere to go but up, really. So here we go. JG King is gifted 5. Those who stay will be champions memberships. Thank you to JG King. And also congrats to Isaiah Martinez, Jeremy Adams, Cody Frazier, Khalid Haji, and D1 Noah Z. Well, all 5 of you have 30 free days of Those Who Stay Will Be Champions YouTube membership. Check it out. Get the emojis. Refresh your YouTube and enjoy some emojis. Courtesy of JG King. You'll also get access to our monthly members-only stream coming up here in just less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Elisha with the $4.99. Let's put our stimulus together and help little brother buy a 4-star.
Yeah, I can't do it. I cannot help Spartans. Yeah, good luck to them, man. I mean, they look like they're in trouble. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just going. I think I was talking about this with a Spartan. I think Jonathan Smith, and I was actually talking about this with college football with Sam, who I had on last Thursday. I think Jonathan Smith's a good coach. I don't think that school is going to give him the resources to be successful. I don't see it working out. They don't. That roster is just so terrible.
Yeah. Hey, they did spend quite a bit on that 6-star long. So yeah, maybe that took up some of the resources.
That all the resources, John. It looks like it's taking all the resources, actually.
But yeah, we can't help him out. No green in this facility. So
yeah, can't do it. No green.
Except
no
for
green
super chats.
No green beyond this point. Yeah.
Super chats are okay.
Oh, it's digital currency, you know. What color is digital currency these days?
Exactly. Elisha with the $1.99. Please tell Sean Magee adapt or go back to 2014. Well, he might be going back to the mid-century in terms of going into the triple option offense of Navy really soon. So he might be going back way previous to 2014 in some ways.
1950s. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, man.
I don't think Sean Magee is being frugal. I just think he's trying to be strategically wise with the resources he has. And I really believe because he did have his first full cycle last year. I think he knows however this class shakes out, it really comes down to closing time. October, November, early December. That is when you make your moves. There was a lot of kids that Michigan made. Look at how we got Nate Marshall at the end. Look how we got Shamari Earls at the end. Look how we got Andrew Babaloa at the end, or even Ty Haywood, the way they did that with Alabama. Like, they know that's when the clock is almost out. That's when you make your aggressive push. And I kind of feel Michigan's going to slow play some kids. And then I think when this class gets to its conclusion, Michigan's going to get more aggressive. And I'm not saying we won't land kids in April, May, June. We will. But I just think Michigan knows they can. So why do it now? You know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. They got Nate Marshall back. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Shamari Earls. Those were huge get backs.
Yes.
Blue Wolverine. Yeah, that's true. Blue Wolverine coming back into the clutch here with another 10 gifted memberships.
You see his little blue card next to his name now?
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, Doreen has one too. So I don't know if there's like a little club here of credit card crew, but hey, we'll take it. And I want to congratulate Kyle Bodkins, Ty Gregorius, Charlie Bones, Strawman, Andrew Kelly, Zalmox, N8, Affliction, Onyeka, and Tim Churchill. Refresh your YouTube, check out your emojis. Congrats on your 30 free days of Those Who Stay Will Be Champions membership, courtesy of Blue Wolverine. Throw that emoji in there if you want to give him a shout out. Blue Wolverine emoji.
Yeah, I see Doreen's got one too. That's interesting. We have to learn the little secret behind that.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Is this a menace thing or what is this? I very much want to hear the story. Because I'm sure there is one, and I'm sure it's great.
I'm sure.
Let's see. Elisha's back. Guess who's back again? Elisha's back. Tell a friend. Every player spring break off except the wide receivers. More Morgan, Bell, O'Leary. Lock them in the facility until they know what a go route is. TJ, I think the only person who's gone harder on the wide receiver room than me is probably Elisha Bowman. I mean, he goes so hard on the wide receiver room.
Elijah is definitely not satisfied with the receiver production. And I'll tell you, John, the day that Elijah starts giving praise to these receivers is the day that we know this offense has turned around. The indicator that this offense is successful is when Elijah starts praising Ron Bellamy and these wide receivers. We'll see if we ever get to that day, John. I think we will, though. I'm optimistic we'll hit it next season.
Hey, that would be absolutely wild. People are making some comments about my rap career. Well, I will say this. I do competitive karaoke. So in DC, we've got a league called District Karaoke, and I have rapped before for competitive karaoke. So that's a whole other.
I'm learning this along with everybody else. So what you're saying is, you're gonna do some karaoke when you come in. You're gonna do some karaoke either Friday or Saturday night. Is what you're saying, bro?
Hey, I'm down. Absolutely.
Right. I gotta see it. I'm down. All right.
All right, Elisha. Michigan is missing out on these recruits because Ward Manuel saw the necessity to combine their NIL deals to keep Samaj the Flame Morgan #legacy. Wow.
Is he getting a movie deal out of this? Is Samaj the Flame Morgan? Is he now doing a superhero flick? Did Michigan work with Marvel on this one? To be determined. But wouldn't it be something if Samaj has like a breakout season in this new offense?
Hey, I'll tell you what. I mean, Elisha's going to have to eat some crow if Samaj just absolutely blows up. But I'm sure that he would be extremely happy if that were the case too.
All right. If Samaj Morgan gets 500 yards and over 5 touchdowns, Elijah has to buy a Samaj Morgan jersey. That's the deal. Elijah, let us know if you're down for that deal. That's hilarious. We got to see it.
There we go. Oh, we got another one here from Elisha. We got Isaiah Hall mentioned yesterday. There hasn't been any mentions of O'Leary so far. Definitely wide receiver progression.
He's not wrong though. I mean,
there haven't been.
A lot of the names we're hearing are the guys that we want to hear. There's not these walk-ons or players with less recognition. You're hearing the players you should hear in terms of the Fred Moores, the Donovan McCulleys, even Andrew Marsh. So good to see change from last spring to this spring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just hearing some of these and Elisha just continues, and Elisha's welcome to keep going.
Yeah,
You
500
know,
receptions.
that's Bull's favorite phrase. Keep coming, never stop coming. What is it?
Always coming, never not coming. Always coming, never not coming.
If Samaj gets 500 yards, then that means he has 500 catches, and that's a bet.
That's
Wow.
the record. All right, there we go. 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Samaj, all right, Samaj Morgan jersey. Elijah will buy it. We're doing it. Bet has been made.
Look out, everybody. Look out. All right, well, that puts us up to date, and we want to thank all the contributions because it's really awesome to see our community come in here and you know, somebody who you might want to check out, Disputed National Champions. I didn't have this last week in the hotel. I'm bringing it back here. Disputed National Champions by the owner of our network, Mark Rogers, voice of college football. Learn about the 90s national champions, the disputed, and I think everybody will enjoy the Michigan-Nebraska chapter, or at the very least find it interesting. Find it at an Amazon near you. All right. So we do have some basketball topics. So from sounds like that Dusty May is hitting the portal, and that we may have some early projections here. So I'd love to hear kind of what you're hearing there.
Yeah, John. So I'm going to share something that I shared on my social media account. You know, shout out to U of M coverage, by the way. Good account to follow, guys. Michigan is ranked number 5 in ESPN's way too early top 25 for next season, guys. They are already projecting Michigan. As it says here, Dusty May has hit the portal early, landing 3 potential starters for next season: Yaxel Landborg, Elliot Cadeau, and Merez Johnson Jr. Landborg is a borderline first-round draft pick, so there's a chance he'll leave, but Cadeau is an incredibly gifted passer, and Johnson is primed for a big jump down low. The Wolverines also have returnees Roddy Gale, Namari Burnett, and 5-star signee Trey McKinney. Let's not forget about that. That's big. The projected lineup is Elliot Cadeau, Roddy Gale, Namari Burnett, Yaxel Lendenborg, and Merez Johnson. Let's not forget the Aday Amara addition that's on the horizon. And plus, there's word that Michigan's looking to add even a couple more players, 1 to 2 more. So, yeah, I mean, I just, you know, again, like if we can just stress here, John, we've gone from 8 wins to what, 27?
Mm-hmm.
8 wins to 27 in 1 year. Sweet 16 run. Year 2, top 5 projection, boys. If that's not a turnaround, I mean, that's nuts. Like, I know it's the NIL era, but like last portal class, it wasn't that Michigan was landing the top of the top players. Michigan got guys that Dusty identified and developed them. I mean, Danny Wolf was a pretty good player at Yale, but he turned him into a first-round potential lottery draft pick. You know, I mean, it's just amazing what Dusty's done with this program.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I just confirm. Yeah, 27-10 last year, Big Ten tournament champions, and then the Sweet 16. Absolutely wild stuff. I mean, that is one of the best turnarounds you maybe in basketball history. Is that an exaggeration, going from 8-24 to the Sweet 16 in 1 year?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have that, but I do just, you know, I mean, it's just, and then like we just signed Dusty to an extension. He's going to be here. Like this program, we're in just such a good position. I keep stressing this like on videos, and the football and basketball program is in such a good position, man. Like it's amazing. It is great to be a Michigan Wolverine, and we are going to get some natties. We're going to get some natties in basketball. We're going to get some natties in football. And I don't see the train slowing down, but I suppose you never do when you're ascending. But we're just in such a great spot with both these programs. And you know, just shout out to Michigan, the donors, the regents, and the athletic department for that, man. I mean, it's just, you know, Ward Manual, we give our flowers. It's just wonderful to see these programs at the top of the mountain right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. And like I said, there's going to be some attrition. So being able to shore that up with some new talent, it sounds like they're going for the top people. And that's really what we want to see in football too. And I think, you know, there's movement there, obviously, with Bryce Underwood. But I'd like to see this approach a little bit more in the football side too, and going after some wide receivers that are, up there. But hey, we'll see. I mean, you got some good ones in there right now, and it sounds good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and what's interesting too is, if you think about what Michigan has done here, landing the number 1 player in the portal, which, by the way, and I didn't hit on this in the video, guys, we won a recruiting battle against Kentucky. Like one of the largest spenders in NIL, the no F's giving Kentucky, who has donors literally for basketball, right? That's their sport. We literally won that battle. So Michigan initially offered, Kentucky countered, and then Michigan countered back. The ball was in their court, was what I was told. And Michigan did it, and they literally stole the number 1 portal player from Kentucky. And then and then if you look at the football side of it, we steal the number 1 player in the class from LSU. And then they also land the number 1 running back in the class, who was one of the top transfer portal players, in Justice Haynes. I mean, it's just the quality of player that Michigan is targeting are insane difference makers. It's a new era. It's just so refreshing. It's interesting to see the approach, because it's not a Miami or an Oregon approach. It's not just burn the money, but it is strategically identifying cornerstone players to build a team around, and then strategically find the right guys to build a winner. That appears to be the current philosophy that both teams are kind of running with. I will say it does appear that basketball has a little bit more of a just charge it mentality, like they're kind of aggressive with this portal. But I do think as Dusty builds his foundation through recruiting, I think the portal spending will maybe I don't want to say stop, but I think it'll be more tactful. And that kind of like football is. Football has so much money in their recruits. I think Michigan's a bit more conservative with the portal, where the basketball program's trying to maintain a water level in terms of a water level of success. And then I think as Dusty continues to land these top recruiting classes, you'll see the portal spending maybe, I would say, just be more strategic.
Yeah, for sure. So any final thoughts here? Otherwise, we do have a couple more super chats, including an answer to our question about the credit card thing. So we do have a resolution there from our friend Blue Wolverine, who also dropped a 10 for his explanation. So that's just amazing. But the credit card after the username indicates that those who support creators via likes, follows, subscriptions, and super chats / gifts, anyone can join us by adding the card after your name.
Join us. So it's like a crew.
Wow, it's like a crew.
Cool. All right, we respect it. I did see Beats and Treats also has a blue card next to his name. So very cool. Yeah,
look at that.
Well, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for being you and showing support for the shows. I know me and John appreciate it greatly. And I know you guys are also on some other podcasts as well. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, and there's Queen Doreen also with the
Queen
credit card.
Doreen, bro.
Elisha with the $1.99. Is Browder getting more playing time than Marsh? Well, it does sound like he is.
Well,
I don't know about exact reps, but
yeah, I don't know the snap distribution here, but I will say Browder appears to be making more noise. Browder's making only McCulley's making more noise than Browder right now. So, I mean, what a good problem. You have 2 6'5" guys turning heads in practice right now against a defense that we know is good, against corners we know has gone against the elite of the elite, and we know that. Alabama, Ohio State, and they shut them down. So, I mean, it's very good that our little outside Twin Towers are doing the damn thing.
Yeah, no, it's great. And look, it's not like Marsh is getting no smoke, right? Like, let's be real.
Right.
Considering he's a true freshman, he's getting some smoke early on too, but it's just looking like Browder is lights out right now. And so is McCulley. Like, those two are looking like they're separating themselves from the pack. And I'm glad, because with what we saw last year, you wanted to see some people step up, some 6'5" people stepping up and saying, we're here, we're gonna be we're gonna get a lot of yards, and we're gonna regularly catch the balls that our quarterback is throwing to us. And I think that's something that we missed a little bit last year.
It seems important. So no, I mean, again, let's just see it. I know there's people like me. I am happy and excited to hear the news, but I know Elijah, we're probably in the same boat here. I got to see it on Saturdays. Like, we got to see it translate to the field. And then it's not that I don't believe it, because I do believe it. I mean, we know Chip Lindsey has had top 10 offenses. We know Bryce Underwood's legit, but like, maybe it's PTSD. But I got to see it translate to Saturdays. But I do anticipate that. Listen, there's no way we're ranked in the 130s again. I do expect a top 50 offense minimally. So we'll see where it is. I will say I have a name for this little blue card group we got here.
Okay.
So I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if they have their own name, but I'm thinking they should be the blue card crew. Blue card crew. Yeah, the blue card crew. I'm thinking that's the group name, but we'll see. Maybe they have their own little name that we don't know about. Maybe it's a super special secret group. Blue
crew. I like that. All right. Keith with the 5, CBS Sports. Yeah. Has Michigan finishing 5th nationally. So yeah, we had mentioned that a few minutes ago, that Michigan's projected as high as 5th.
Yeah, and they're not done. Like, their portal is not done. Now, obviously, we want Yaxel to stay in the class, but so let me just stress this: Dusty, like, Michigan feels they feel okay here. I mean, they've had these discussions. They're aware of his him going through the draft process, which a lot of kids do, by the way. You can go through the draft process and pull your name out. I think, and apparently there's a contingency plan if something were to occur, but I mean, it's just something we're going to have to watch. They're not done yet. So we'll just have to see there.
Absolutely. And just a reminder, because there's some people asking for their comments to be highlighted, we highlight super chats. So if you would like your comment or question highlighted, super chat us. Elisha with the $4.99. I rewatched Jamar Browder's film, and I don't know why he wasn't a top 100 recruit. His hands are elite, and route running for his height is solid. It's got good film.
Elijah's giving praise to a wide receiver.
I know. Wow.
It's a new day. It's a new day. It's the Chip Lindsey, Bryce Underwood era. All right. So his film is actually very impressive. The reason why he did not, he has the size, he has the hands. The concern, if you want to call it that, is his explosiveness out of his routes, his speed, and his route running can improve. But route running, that's something that you learn in college. Like, in high school, it's tough to be a great route runner. I mean, you just don't have the fundamentals of mechanics. But in terms of speed, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of receivers who are not the fastest. Anquan Bolden, Amon-Ra St. Brown, etc. But they make it work because, like, another one who didn't have a great 40 time was Puka Nacua, but they're just excellent technicians at the game. So we'll see what Jamar Browder can be. I will say there is a belief that they got a steal here, and this is a player that we will be definitely keeping our eye on.
For sure. Yeah, I'm very excited about Browder. And we read it, we saw his film, we broke down his film, and we said it looked damn good, and we had some hopes for this guy, and he's carrying it through.
One thing I love about doing these player analysis videos is my take is on record. And I love, Chase Taylor was another one where I was like, man, this kid is better than his ranking. Now we haven't heard much of him out of camp, but Jamar Browder was somebody I was like, his hands are just the best in the class. I mean, if you just watch this kid's film, it's insane how good his hands are. This isn't normal. This is elite level shit here. So it's really interesting and rewarding at the same time to like hear the results, what I saw, and then the results happen in practice. Like, you're hearing the noise, like it's coming. it's so real that it's leaking from camp. This isn't like somebody's like, we don't have a lot of people watching camp, right? These are like a lot of stuff that we get out of camp, although there were a lot of spectators. I believe it was last Thursday at practice. These things are leaking, and it's so loud, right? It's so loud as an analogy that it can't be held in Schembecker's walls. So yeah, it's great to hear that Jamar Browder is really shining right now.
GT asks, who is a better coach, AJ Hinch, Dan Campbell, or Dusty May? We are blessed to have all three.
I would add another coach to this, JB Bickerstaff with the Pistons. What he's doing with the Pistons right now to get the team to literally triple their win count, which is an NBA record, and no team has ever tripled their win total in a single season. In the way they're playing, I've thought about that, and it's potentially possible. We have another one in Sherrone Moore as well. I mean, Sherrone Moore, let's see, because what he's done in big games is big time. He just has to get a little bit better at game management. But AJ Hinch, Dan Campbell, Dusty May and JB Bickerstaff are all coaches who are making their team better because of the coach. It's excellent to have that.
Yeah. I'm with you guys.
Who's the better coach? Shit, man. If you had to pick one,
tough.
I mean, what AJ Hinch did with the Tigers to get us to the freaking the championship game for the AL. And then Dan Campbell.
In there. Woo.
What Dusty Day, 8 wins to 27. I mean, I guess I'd go Dan Campbell, but it's maybe because I'm just biased because I love the NFL so much. But I mean, they're all just, and JB Bickerstaff. I mean,
and Dusty May's only had 1 year, to be fair. So I mean, we're
blessed, right? Yeah, but JB Bickerstaff's 1 year. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we're very blessed right now. The Red Wings got to get their shit together, though,
for sure.
And
Elisha with another shot. Elisha's not done today.
Oh my God.
Samaj is making noise too from the sideline. Oh man, for absolutely brutal.
Let me just put a disclaimer out there. Samaj Morgan, this is not the views of Michigan at the Voice of College Football. Me and John are just here for the ride. These are the views and opinions of Elijah. So let's just make that very clear.
Yes, we read the super chats as is, unless they say something offensive. We read
Elijah
them.
is throwing haymakers right now.
but and look, I actually think that Samaj, if we're being real here, is going to have an improved year next year. I don't think there's any way around that. When you have a quarterback like Bryce Under, like, this is an example, I think, of where the quarterback issues played a role, because Samaj did get open on many occasions where they just didn't see him, or they didn't read him in. So that's on the quarterbacks for making the wrong read.
Let me clarify. We have some individuals asking if Elijah's a Michigan fan. Or no, maybe they're asking if they're an Ohio State fan. I don't know. Let's just make this very clear, though. He is a Michigan fan. He's just having. Listen, we have some. Now, I will say, in the regular season, our super chats are very spicy and aggressive, and we definitely have some super chatters who like to take liberties and have some fun with it. So that's really what it is. Elijah's having some fun, and there may or may not be some what's the word I'm looking for? Shots here, taken here.
And look, I've taken my shots at the wide receiver room. I think at Ron Bellamy especially, I just think that the coaching wasn't there, and you can see it now with Soup Campbell coming, and he's the details guy. He's they're saying all the words that really mean wide receiver coach to describe Soup Campbell. And what is that really saying by subtraction? Well, maybe Ron Bellamy didn't have those things, and maybe shouldn't have been the wide receivers coach, but that's a whole nother can of worms, and I won't get into that any further today. Nick with the $1.99 flame emoji, cigarette, an okay symbol, looks like some smoking, and love emoji, and I agree with this.
Nick, I know how to read the hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics here is Nick is blazing a bleezy right now, and he's just letting us know he's having a good time. And Bryce was always going to start TJ. Hey, No argument from me right now. Listen, as I said, 5 practices in, he is undeniable, which was what I said needed to happen in fall camp. We only needed 5 practices. So shout out to Bryce for doing the damn thing. That debate is over. It's done.
Hey, and if you were watching at the Voice of College Football Michigan, we did have somebody who said Bryce Underwood was going to start.
You were of the position that Bryce was starting snap 1, game 1.
Yep.
And I was of the position, for those who don't know, Mikey Keene was going to get the very first snap, very first game. I did anticipate Bryce Underwood to get a lot of playing time in the first game.
Yeah, like JJ situation.
My expectation was week 3, Bryce Underwood was going to take the role over, but it appears we are already there. So good for Bryce Underwood, and let's hope he. My concern is the offensive line. Let's hope they can do their job for him.
Yeah. Elisha, one play to summarize Ron Bellamy's coaching is when Kendrick Bell got shoved down against Minnesota while running a go route. Oh man, this is brutal stuff.
Well, I mean, the question is, was it Kirk Campbell or Ron Bellamy that limited the quarterback? I mean, that's the thing too, is like it was the quarterback play, Kirk Campbell, potentially Ron Bellamy. I mean, it's just, it's this. Guess what? We're gonna know. We're gonna know very clearly what the issue, if there is an issue, what it is next season, because we know it's not Bryce Underwood. We know it's not Kirk Campbell because he's had top 10 offenses. But Soup Campbell's there too. Like I'm not really concerned about it. I'll be honest. I'm not.
Yeah, I think that added experience is so huge. I mean, it really does change things, in my opinion. I think it had a lot to do with Ron Bellamy, because who was OC before? It was Sharon Moore, national championship winning offensive coordinator, and the wide receivers still didn't do anything except Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson. It's true. I mean, it is true. And you had JJ. I mean, you have JJ.
JJ McCarthy went 10th overall in the draft.
I know.
So
bad luck. It's a bad look. We'll see. Hey, Soup Campbell's there though.
Soup Campbell's there.
Shout out to over in Ohio. He is right. If Bryce Underwood starts game 1, snap 1, I win $1,000. So at the end of the day, I get my money anyways. So Duke might have let me down, but Adam Lamparello is not going to let me down. So we'll see.
Yeah, there we go. Elisha, the fact Jamar Browder gets praise just shows how sorry our 40-year-old wide receivers are. Wow.
What do you mean, Elijah?
40.
Jamar Browder might be that guy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and 40 is a bit much. Maybe 20, 22, maybe 21, 22.
These days, these guys are pushing 25, 26. It's crazy with the NIL.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, some of these positions. Elisha does agree that Samaj will have an improved year. 190 catches, 250 yards, 1 jet sweep touchdown. Just savage, but that would be an improved year. So that's true.
Well, all right, listen, 190 catches for anybody's you're breaking records. But yeah, the yardage numbers, what did Samaj even get last year? Let's just do this. Let's play a game. All right, John, what do you think Samaj Morgan's receptions were, touchdowns, and yards? Jeez. I feel like an asshole. We're just kind of roasting him right now.
25.
He did have a legendary post-game rant, though.
25 catches. 200 yards.
No. So 27 receptions. 139 yards. one touchdown. Now, what's sad is a lot of that could be obtained in one game or even one half. Hoping for the best next year.
Oh, geez. Again, none of this is representative of our takes here.
These are the views and opinions of Elijah, not Michigan at the Voice College Football.
Yeah, we want to interview some of these people. Like, let's be GT, our super chatters take way more shots than Michigan did down the field last season. There it is. That I like that one. That's a funny one.
He's not wrong. I mean, between GT, Elijah, Nick, and there's a couple others. I mean, the savagery of this community has no limits.
And JG King is right. Get the likes up. Listen, folks, hitting the like button is free. And, you know, we're not the type, we don't beg for super chats here. We love super chats when they come in. But one thing that I am going to say you should probably do is hit the like button. You know why? Costs you nothing. It just takes a second, helps propel this thing to more people, and get the word out about Michigan to more people. And we go twice a week, you know, and we don't have a paywall that's protecting these shows. It's a lot of really good content, and we're putting them out there twice a week for you guys. So hit the like button if you like the content. That'd be awesome. Elisha, trying to get my money for the super chats during the season. That's why I was silent, just like Fred Moore when it isn't raining.
Jeez. Oh God. All right, let's look at Fred Moore's stats now.
Fred Moore did have his best game in the rain. Let's against
see.
Alabama.
All right, give me your Fred Moore. What do you think Fred Moore did?
My guy, Fred Moore. I actually have this up. So, but yeah, 11 receptions, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah. And that's
you can do that. You can do that in one game. You can do that in one game.
Yeah. And decent chunk of that came in the Alabama game.
Here's the better days, John. Here's the better days for our wide receivers.
Yeah, remember when we were
Campbell is here, brother. Bryce Underwood is here.
Remember when we were celebrating the Fred Moore Alabama game as like, oh man, this is actually like we're starting to see something, and it was 37 yards and
legacy games. Those three reception 30-yard games. That's what Elijah was always talking about. Those legacy games, 3 receptions, 30 some odd yards, maybe a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, that was desperate times for our passing game.
It's sad that a big game is 3 receptions, like 38 yards.
Yeah, it's wild.
All right. Anyways, new era, spring. Kirk Campbell.
Elisha, remember it took till week 10 for alpha wide receiver to get 100 yards on the season.
Did it take till week 10? I don't even know. It might have taken a long time. But man, our quarterback play was so bad, dude. It's like I'll be real. I think the biggest issue for our wide receivers was quarterback, Kirk Campbell, then wide receivers.
Yeah.
The quarterback could not. We couldn't, like Alex Orji couldn't throw.
Yeah. And that's also, I mean,
Jack Tuttle was broken.
I like Kirk Campbell's got to be a pretty big factor there because Kirk Campbell was OC, quarterback's coach. And so for that level, I mean, Davis Warren was the best option. Davis Warren. And Alex Orji could barely throw anything. Oh. And when he did, I quickly understood why they didn't have him throw because he threw some picks when they did have him throw forward passes, but it was just absolutely absurd. So there we go. We are now up to date on super chats. Thank you so much, seriously, everybody for super chatting. Means a lot. And we had a bunch of gifted memberships today. You guys are really coming through in the clutch. Y'all, it's April. There really is no off. You know, that's our motto here at Voice of College Football. There's no off season. It really feels like there's no off season when you guys are coming through here every single week.
Yeah, and like I said, we have the best community, the best Michigan community on YouTube. We do. I mean, period. And I mean, look, it's the off season. I mean, I think it was last week we had like over 300 people watching the show and from YouTube. And you know, tonight another strong show. And I appreciate you guys being a part of it. You know, it's just it's very exciting to see this thing grow week by week, month by month.
So this is actually a good question to kind of make sure we answer. He is a YouTube member, Wolverine, formerly in Ohio. Congratulations on that. What is the official spring? So the spring portal window opens April 16th and it runs through till April 25th. So it's a 10-day window. It's a short window. So expect to see some movement. Our show during that is going to be fun. I mean, we're going to be like when those come out, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, and just know that the window is for players to enter the portal. Once they enter the portal, they can join a team at any time. And if you're a graduate, you can join a team you can enter the portal at any time too.
Yeah, for sure. And Corey G says he's calling in Thursday. I think that's a great time, great reason to bring up the Thursday show. So like we said, this channel does 2 live streams every single week. We've got the Michigan Wolverines call-in show, which is every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and just so Nick knows, bees do have knees. But all right, so yeah, with the Thursday call-in show, 8 p.m. Be on the lookout for that. I will say there is and actually, John, I haven't even told you yet, but there is some big news coming for the call-in show. Big news.
Oh,
but we'll have to save it. We have to save it. I will let you guys know when it's time to let you guys know. But we're excited for the direction of the call-in show, and so be on the lookout for that. I will reveal that later, a few weeks from now, but we'll get into it. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Looking forward to the call-in show. We did have a great show last week, College Football Sam, and looking to have another good show this week, John.
For sure. Wolverine Casuals asking us, who's our fastest wide receiver right now? Fastest. Yeah, it's tough.
Well, all right, I know the answer to that, but it doesn't count. It's Amarion Walker, but
good call.
He doesn't even have his number. He doesn't have a number.
Yeah,
the number 1 got taken from him.
Yeah, does Amarion even count if he doesn't even have a number? I mean, technically that's the answer, right? But I think we don't really know a lot of recorded numbers. So
probably I would argue maybe Fred Moore.
Fred Moore is up there. We
really don't have burners, bro. Yeah. We've tried. I mean, we've tried to land a few of these dudes, like that wide receiver who went to Oregon, who was one of the fastest players in the nation. Why can't I think of his name? I think he went on a mission too. All these kids going on mission. How crazy is it? All these Mormon players. Like, why are all these like Mormon, like, and I mean this respectfully, there's so many Mormon kids who are like good as hell at football.
Gatlin Bear.
Gatlin Bear. And then these kids are like, they go on these missions for a year or two. And I'm gonna be honest, like, and I, again, no disrespect here. They typically crush their trajectory. Like, they just do not. It's so hard for these kids to come. Like Andrew Gentry was one, our offensive lineman, who was a former top 100 player, was a monster in high school. Never got it together. He just transferred out of Michigan. Like, it's a lot of these kids have a hard time adjusting back to physical football because the college game is so different from high school, you know? I don't know. I mean, it's it blows my mind how many kids there are that are Mormon, you know?
Yeah, it's wild.
Almost like these Polynesians, these Polynesian kids are like damn good at football, bro. The Polynesians and the Mormons on the West Coast.
Yeah, the super chats keep rolling in. Our fastest wide receiver tore his ACL against Bama. Are you saying Davis Warren's a wide receiver because he's catching his own balls? Is that what it is?
Awesome. All right. Let's see. Maybe Amarion Stewart. I don't know. Amarion Stewart.
Oh.
Or Fred Moore. Andrew Marsh is pretty fast too, though.
He is. So Marsh was somebody in my head. I didn't say out loud, but he's. It's hard to name a true fresh, the fastest on the team.
Yeah, it's tough because we don't have like some stupid like 10-5 kid.
Yeah,
at wide receiver, we just don't.
If Skylar Bell came, then he would be the fastest, but Michigan would put him at long snapper. Good Lord. Let's just going hard tonight.
Word is that Michigan will be pursuing, if Skylar Bell enters the portal, be on the lookout.
All right. We Nick asking the tough questions, right? So one more thing we want to do. We did this a little tiny bit at the beginning of the show, but want to wish you, TJ. Obviously, you had your birthday this week, yesterday, right? So happy birthday! Looks like you were having a great time.
Yeah. So thank you everybody who wished me happy birthday yesterday. I do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I did try to reply to everybody with a personal response because you guys took the time to shout out me. Wanted to shout out you guys. It does mean something to me. I do appreciate that. I really do enjoy being a part of this channel and this community. It is a lot of fun, and I look for, like, today. I was working today and busy. I was so busy today, and I was just like, man, I cannot wait to do the podcast. Just looking forward to it. We had so much to talk about. So I just really enjoy doing this with you guys. Yes, this is mine and John's show, but it's our show and our community, and it is fun. And we're looking forward to meeting you guys for the spring game. Also, my boy got me this. Got this Woodson bourbon whiskey. He's like, let's drink it. And I'm like, I can't drink this, bro. I'm not even a big bourbon guy, but I'm a beer guy.
I am.
But you got to keep this.
Yeah. I've been thinking about getting the Woodson whiskey.
Yeah, I was very nice of him to get that. So
as a fan, myself.
This little thing I might be rocking at the spring game. So
cool. That's cool.
Yeah. His friend does 3D printing, and he got that for me. So pretty cool, pretty nifty.
There we go. Let's see. That is the true GOAT right there. Here we go. TJ, use your birthday money to build an NIL package for Cade McCheckdown. # hate competition. Yeah.
I'm currently building an NIL package to flip Asian Posh, aka Queen Doreen. That's currently the current strategic approach, because I believe if we can flip Asian Posh, then that might be the biggest FU to the Buckeyes outside of beating them in November. So the next best thing, actually, that's not true. Planting a flag is without question the biggest FU to the Buckeyes. But outside of planting the flag, beating the Buckeyes, flipping Asian Posh is a priority for me.
Yeah. Doreen would be a major pickup from the Buckeyes. And let's face it, the East Tennessee State Buccaneers, I think that's a great fit for Cade. I think that's really where he can be amongst his element. He's at the East Tennessee Buccaneers.
Shit. Man.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm bummed out he got injured at Iowa. I really wanted to see what he could do there. I just wanted to see,
Yeah. Listen, if it wasn't for all the shots he took at Michigan,
I know.
That, listen, if he had just been like, hey, it's cool, JJ won the job, I'm taking my to Iowa, we're gonna ball out. I think all of us would be like, hell yeah, and probably watch a lot of Iowa games with Cade and Eric all both on the team. Like, it was hard to root for him when we knew, of all the stuff that he was saying on those podcasts, So
I know.
I'd be rooting for him.
No, I don't disagree. I don't know. I liked him. Like, I don't know if anyone remembers we were getting cooked by Wisconsin. They put him in his very first drive. He drove us down for a touchdown. Like, I don't know. I just was kind of hoping he'd be, it is what it is. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
Elisha says, I bet Cade was heated when they still went to the portal for an additional quarterback.
I'm sure. Dude, I'm sure he was. You could tell, I try and put myself in the shoes of these athletes. Like, bro, imagine being because I don't know if anyone knows this. They probably do because it was broadcasted. You set all these state records in Nevada, which he did. And then you go to a power like Michigan, and then you get an opportunity, and then that shit is just taken from you. And you lead Michigan to a win over Ohio State, Big Ten title, college football playoffs, although it didn't work out too well. and you are just literally pushed to the side. I mean, that's got to hurt one's ego. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, and yeah, it does look like Will Healy, who's the head coach of the East Tennessee State Buccaneers, went and got a transfer
I know
portal quarterback in addition to Cade McNamara. So
yes.
Hey, this might be the case. I don't know. That would be interesting. I bet Cade does sit-ups to a picture of JJ in his room. Oh, that would be some motivation there. I'm sure. All right, y'all. Here we go. And I like this comment. I'm gonna throw this up. Cade needs to give up football and join Cobra Kai. There it is. That's the answer. Beats and treats, no mercy. Sweep the leg, Cobra Kai. That's the answer. Love it. Beats and treats. There we go. All right, y'all. I think we're 2 hours in, y'all. Yeah, thank you for hanging in with us the last 2 hours. But I think it's that time, and you can of course catch us Tuesdays and Thursdays. TJ's on Thursdays, and then both of us are on Tuesdays. We'll see a lot of you at the spring game because apparently a bunch of people are coming, including some Buckeyes. So that's very exciting. And you can follow us at John Diadamo and at TJ_Ronin. Any final thoughts, TJ, before we sign off?
Just a week and a half away from the spring game. Looking forward to that. We're going to have some fun, and looking forward to Thursday's show, guys. See you there.
Absolutely. See you next time. And until then, go blue. Bye, everybody.
Elijah.
Another one?
Elijah said no.
Nope. No. Elijah said not so fast, my friend. Elisha, Cade about to go full-on Syndrome from Incredibles.
I'll be honest, I'm out the loop on that one. I didn't see the Incredibles.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now.
All right. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's really that. Yeah, the villain, because everybody's saying it's Cade's villain arc. So
okay,
there we
go. I see it. Very well.
A genius blinded by jealousy. So that sounds about right. So anyway, yeah. Remember when Cade said he remembered he had a lot of the tactics from that other team or the other team or whatever he said, because he didn't say Michigan. He really lended his genius to that game after, and then Michigan shut out Iowa following that game. But anyway, there it is. Yeah, Elisha, kudos to you going hard in the paint tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Elijah. Well, thank you for the contributions. Again, those are the views and perspectives of Elijah, not the voice of college football.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Until next time, go blue, and we'll see you soon.
Go blue.